You're going to need potatoes, an empty bowl, curry powder, paprika, ground cumin, ground cinnamon, onion powder, ground turmeric, cardamom powder, spice blend, food coloring. This is a deep orange one. Red chili powder, cilantro, and any flour would work fine. As you can see, I'm washing the potato and putting them in an empty pot. This is just to wash off any dirt or... First, you're going to add the potatoes into the pot and fill it up with water. Continue to add 2 tablespoons of salt into the potatoes and put it on the stove on high. Put a lid on top. Continue to come back to check for the potatoes to make sure they're not too mushy and overcooked. Let the potatoes cool before draining the water. As you can see, we will use the lid to drain the water from the potatoes. Once this is done, you will add cold water into the potatoes to make sure they cool. Using a knife, start to peel the skin off of the potatoes. I would recommend waiting for the potatoes to fully cool down before starting this process because it was very difficult trying to peel and cut a hot potato. Put the potato peelings in the trash, or in this case a separate plate, and begin the next process. As you can see, I grabbed a different plate to start to cut the potatoes into slices. Be careful not to slice them too big or too small because they will crumble, and they should look like this. I then used a plastic container and added flour onto it and continued to add water into the mix and began to stir. Continue to stir this until it thickens, or add water, or if needed, add more flour, and this should be a thick mix. And I started to add in the spices into the flour. The amount that you put into the mix depends on your preference, and ones that I used were ground cinnamon. As you can see, I did not measure. I'm just shaking a little bit into the mix. I then mixed up all of the ingredients together. You want all of the ingredients to be well mixed until it looks that color. I cut up some cilantro and I will be adding it into the mix as well. The color should be almost as the one that I have, but it does not have to be that exact color. And then stir up the cilantro and all of the ingredients that you had just mixed up before. You want all of them well mixed so that when you dip your potatoes in there, every ingredient is all well. And I added food coloring to define the color more. I'm then adding red chili powder into the mix as well, just for flavor, and mixing it. You want this very well mixed, especially at the bottom where things tend to be stuck. In this video, we use corn oil, but you can add any oil into the frying pan and let it sit for 10 minutes on medium heat before adding the bhajia. You can see that I'm dipping the sliced potatoes into the mixture that was created before with the seasonings and spices onto the oil and watching it fry. You can repeat the same process over and over again by just flipping it over into the seasoning and dipping it into the oil. Continue to do this until you have filled the frying pan with the bhajia. You want to wait to turn this over until it's a golden orange. Using a spatula, you can turn it over and see if they're ready. This is how they should look like, and you're made your bhajia.